So when you're out at the rack stores, Marshalls, Ross Dress for Less, Burlington, Belk, all these different places, TJ Maxx, and you're on the hunt for some fragrances, sometimes some of the fragrances you come across are really good values versus the online discounters. Some are right about on par with what you'll find them online for, and some might be a few dollars more, but you save time, you save shipping, and you can get it right then and there and get the instant validation of finding something you were looking for in the hunt. Today, I want to discuss 10 fragrances that I would say keep your eyes out for when you're rack store hunting for fragrances. Stay tuned. So I had to start the video with this one because this is a recent acquisition that I grabbed at Marshall's that's out. People have been finding them all over, and I believe is one of the better cheap fragrances that you can find at the rack stores right now. It's actually a new release from this year. I just recently did a full review on it, which I'll put right here if you want to check it out. Newest from Abercrombie & Fitch in the First Instinct line. It's Together. This stuff right here is a combination of a little taste of YSL Y meets the original First Instinct and Invictus Aqua. This stuff is great. To me anyways, I think it's awesome. I love the way it smells. I'll probably be wearing this one again later in the week, probably over the next few days. I already have today's fragrance picked out. A lot of you have probably already seen my Scent of the Day post, and this is not it, but 20 bucks for a 50 ml, 25, 30 bucks, I forgot, if you can find the 100 milliliter bottle, which a lot of people have found as well. Cheapy gold right now, and these are out at the rack store. They've been out for several weeks now, and one that I advise, if you like any of those three fragrances or that style of fragrance, a fresh aquatic that's kind of ambroxan-ish kind of smell, the musk is a little ambroxan-y, grab it. They're out, and that's First Instinct Together. Now, depending which store you find this at, the price is going to vary, because I've seen people find it at Marshall's and TJ Maxx for $39.99. I found it at Ross Dress for Less for $29.99. This is another new release for 2020, underrated in my opinion. If you like the Dolce & Gabbana light blue line, go ahead and spend your 30 to 40 bucks and get the newest release. Love is love. I'm telling you, the apple gelato in this one actually adds a little twist to the light blue DNA, because it definitely smells like light blue plus the added twist. I love the way this one smells. It got some mixed reviews when it came out. They hit the rack stores very quickly. I think it's a great pickup. Backup bottle worthy. No, I wouldn't go crazy if you find a bunch of them for 30 bucks. Get the one 4.2 ounce bottle, which is going to last you a long time depending on how many fragrances you have. In my case, probably forever. But I find the compliment factors up on it because it is a light blue fragrance. It's a beloved, just beautiful scent DNA that's been around for many years. That apple gelato note kind of warms it up a little bit, adds a twist without changing it too much. I think it was a nice addition to the line, and it was this year's flanker, and it hit the rack stores really quick, and they're still out. Keep your eyes peeled if you're interested. One I suggest giving a shot, especially if you can find it for 30 like I did. That's Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. Love is love. This next one is absolutely cheaper in the rack stores than you can find it from places like Fragrance Net, Fragrance X, eBay sellers, places like that. The Michael Kors line of men's fragrances. When you find the 4 ounce 120 ml bottles, they're always $29.99. They're at minimum $10 more online, sometimes a little bit more. And this one's kind of underrated. Everybody's been talking about Extreme Sky, the newest release lately. But for fall, Extreme Speed is actually a really good, sneaky good pickup for this time of year. Very green, very herbaceous, very woody. A lot of cypress in this one. Definitely not a fresh fragrance. It's more full-bodied, darker, greener, and woodier. Great for the fall, especially fall evenings, and then transitioning on into winter. Decent performer, decent projector, both in that moderate range, not breaking any beast mode records or anything like that, but definitely not weak and underperforming. And like I said, big bottle like this, $30 when you can find it in the rack stores. Obviously, they have smaller bottle sizes that are even cheaper that show up in the rack stores. I found this one at Marshall's. It's usually where I find the Michael Kors fragrances. And this is one that nobody's really talking about. It's been popping up quite a bit, and one I advise you to keep an eye out for if you're looking for something that's not your average freshie. You're kind of sick of the summer fragrances and you're ready for something green and woody. Check out Extreme Speed from Michael Kors. Now going to the opposite end of the spectrum with this one, these are always out at the rack store. And when in doubt, if you don't have a bottle or you're running low on your bottle and you need to re-up, you can always grab Nautical Voyage. The crisp green apple, super aquatic fresh, god-awful atomizer, but always at the rack stores, always, always, always there. I can't remember the last time I didn't see a few bottles. This and Nautical Blue and Nautical Classic. It's regulars, Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, it don't matter, all of them. They usually have them, and they're usually $15.99. Yeah, you can get them for around 12 bucks in certain places online, but you're gonna wait, especially with shipping times the way they've been since COVID-19. Spend the 4 bucks. If you're looking to get a bottle of Nautical Voyage, just spend the extra 4 bucks and get it right then and there. Get your instant gratification and walk out the door with a bottle in your bag. It's tried and true. It's been talked about to death. The hype is real on Nautical Voyage. It's crisp, it's fresh, it's aquatic, it smells good, and it's cheap. It's the best nautical fragrance you can get. Nautical Voyage. And this next one, performance is nothing special, but the scent absolutely is. Hype is real on this one as well. I keep saying hype is real because I just did a hype video, actually. But this one's been a pretty hyped up cheapie, actually. And like I said, if you can get past the performance, some people say 2 hours, and it's more than that. I get about 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours, which is still on that weaker side. But Sean John, 3 a.m. The fig and the woods, it's got an underlying sweetness. This fragrance is interesting. The atomizer is amazing too. It's an interesting fragrance. When you smell it, it doesn't smell like everything else. The way this one's done is fantastic, and it's cheap. A 30 ml, 12 bucks, something like that. 50 ml around 15, maybe $20 for a 100 ml, in that range. Worth every penny. Great, great fresh fragrance. Great for the office, good casual day off. If you're looking around and you happen to glance across a bottle of 3 a.m., just grab it. Do like I do when you see something that you think you might like, just grab. Just hurry up and grab it. You never know who's in the aisle. It might be the only bottle you may regret not grabbing it. Grab it, get it in your hand, and think about it. Don't stare at it on the shelf, because somebody like me will walk up and boop, go ahead and grab that if you haven't touched it yet. Seen that happen to a lot of people. I've done that to a lot of people. You better grab it if you're interested in it. Think about it with it in your hand. Just a little tip and a little advice for rack store hunting for fragrances. Because you may regret it if you don't grab it. Especially a 30 ml for 10 or 12 bucks. It's worth it. That way you're not investing too much just in case you don't like it. But I'm pretty confident you'll like the scent on this one because the scent is amazing. Sean John, 3 a.m. I see a lot of these bottles. 30 mLs, 50 mLs, 100 mLs, it don't matter. If you like Polo Blue, the original Polo Blue, save yourself some money. The value is in Calvin Klein Eternity Aqua. This is a little 30 ml. That's why it's actually got a cap, because the bigger bottles, they don't have a cap. They have just a little push down, squared looking atomizer. But the scent on this one is like the grown up version of Polo Blue. Not that that's a playful and youthful scent or anything, but it has a little touch of the herbaceousness of Calvin Klein Eternity mixed with Polo Blue Eau de Toilette, the original, that cucumber, fruity, fresh smell. And this one performs decent, performs better than Polo Blue. 5 to 6 hour fragrance, which is nothing spectacular, but for what it is, it's a solid performer. It really is. Compliment factor is very high on it. One of the better light blue fragrances that are out there. I consider light blue its own category. These are, have a blue tinge to them. They're mass appealing, but they're more mass appealing for the hot weather. They're versatile. They work in a lot of situations in hotter weather where you can dress them up and down. And this is definitely a light blue fragrance, not just because of the color, but because of the scent profile on this one. And one that's always out and about at all the rack stores. I see them a lot. Don't hesitate to grab a bottle. This is definitely a blind buy worthy fragrance, which at the rack stores you're blind buying anyway. They're locked down. You can't just open them and smell them, except for some of those cheapo fragrances that are specific to the store. CK Eternity Aqua, I'm telling you, great find at the rack stores. A lot of the fragrances from this line from Lacoste pop up a lot. Lacoste fragrances in general pop up at the rack stores a lot. But this might be the most famed of all of them, and for good reason. It's very citrusy with the grapefruit. It's got a floral quality to it with a beautiful leather note in the dry down. Like I said, it's probably the most popular from Lacoste, and it's from the L1212 line, Lacoste Blanc, or Lacoste White. It's a popular fragrance. You can get 100 ml like this around 30 bucks. Absolutely worth the money too. You see this one out there, just grab it. Oh man, if you don't have it already, it's one that just works. This is one of those fragrances that would fall into the light blue category kind of, even though it's a white bottle, because it leans to the hotter weather, obviously, but this one can dress up pretty well. Compliment factor is definitely there. You're gonna love the way you smell, and those around you that can smell you, when they smell you, are gonna love the way you smell. And like I said, right around 30 bucks. Absolutely worth it for this one. Most of the time, they're gonna be around 30 bucks when you see a 100 milliliter Lacoste bottle. Some tend to be a little bit more, some a little less. But this is the most popular for a reason, because it's one of the better fragrances that you can get in the $30 price bracket that pops up at a rack store. L1212 White from Lacoste. Next is a Winter Darling from the rack stores. Another Calvin Klein fragrance. And you see a lot from the CK1 line show up, especially at Ross Dress for Less. I see a lot of the CK1 fragrances and flankers and CKB and stuff like that. CK2 Into You. I see all these fragrances, all these places when I go. But the one that pops up that's absolutely worth grabbing, especially as the weather starts to transition and get cold, CK1 Shock. Nice, sweet, moist tobacco fragrance. Good beginner tobacco fragrance. Decent performer. Smells amazing. $20 for a 100 milliliter bottle like this. Man, that's some good stuff. $30 for a 200 milliliter bottle. Yes, those show up at the rack stores too. This is a rack store legendary grab in the fragrance world. They pop up a lot throughout the year. They have for many, many years now. It's pretty much if you have a bottle of this, more than likely, you got it at a rack store. I feel safe saying that, because that's usually the case. Because when you don't know what else to get, not 99% of the time it's going to be there, but a lot of the times, there's a bottle of CK1 Shock sitting at one of these stores you're popping into. Because usually when you go to one store, you go to another one too. It's usually a 2-store minimum, because they're usually right next to each other in the same strip. You'll hit Marshalls and Ross, or you'll hit Ross and TJ Maxx, or TJ Maxx and Burlington. It's just the way it shakes out. And this one's going to be at least one of them every time you go. And it's absolutely worth getting, especially as the weather starts to cool off. And that CK1 Shock, in my opinion, one of the best ways to start off trying tobacco fragrances. Well, this has been hyped to death. And it's one that you can get super cheap online from discounters and super cheap at the rack stores when you can find them. And they pop up a lot. Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. This pops up a lot. It's from one of my favorite designer houses that turns into a cheapie. It's from Salvatore Ferragamo, the famed F Black. Does give off a La Nuit de l'Homme vibe without being as sweet as La Nuit de l'Homme. High compliment factor, solid performer. Doesn't perform as well as it used to, from what I understand. I don't have any of the old bottles. This bottle's about 2 years old. I just don't wear it that much. Put a very small dent in it. This one's always out there. People love the way this smells. It smells good off of your skin directly, but it's all about the trail with this one. You'll get random compliments and random positive comments walking by people when you have this on. You'll forget you have it on a few hours in, because it's not really projected, or you're anosmic to it. You got used to it because it's been a few hours, and somebody like, ooh, what's that smell? Or, ooh, you smell good. What are you wearing? This is known for that. F Black is a very popular fragrance. A lot of people have it. A lot of people get them at rack stores. This is another one that turns up all the time. Not just this one. You'll see Free Time pop up a lot as well. I've seen the original F pop up several times, and I haven't grabbed it. I need to. It'll complete the line, but if you're going to get just one, get F Black. It tends to be at most of the rack stores most of the time. You can get a 50 ml around 15 to 20 bucks. It's absolutely worth every penny. Great to wear to work during the cooler months, and absolutely fantastic to wear for evenings, dates, and dinners. F Black, Salvatore Ferragamo. Last but not least, this may be a surprising pick for some of you. It's 12 bucks for a 4-ounce bottle. You can find them at Ross. Every time I've ever seen it was at Ross. I'm sure they pop up at Marshall's and TJ Maxx and places like that, but I always see it at Ross. Finally pulled the trigger a little over a month ago. I like wearing this one out the shower. It's from Jeffrey Bean. Eau de Grey Flannel. The fresher, actually wearable version of gray flannel. Oh man, because watch, where is it at? I wanted to grab this. It was one shelf down from where I was looking. This was the biggest waste of $15 and $16 I've ever made. This is so much better than this. It's not even funny. You can find them both at the rack stores easily. You can find the spray bottle of this, the dabber bottle like I have here. This is old school right here. And look, I've tried to like it. It's got a lot of florals in it and stuff like that. This is a very muggy, old smelling scent. I don't advise you get this. Some people like it. I get it. Hey, teach their own. You like this? Wear it. I suggest getting your hands on this. It don't perform near as good as this, but it smells a whole lot better. This is a fresh, wearable version of this. Still masculine, still a little herbaceous, but very fresh, light and airy. And I've gotten a few compliments from the wife and from my mother on this one. They like the way this one smells too. 12 bucks for this 4-ounce spray bottle. You might end up thanking me later. Well guys, that's it for the 10, and until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. How many of you already have all 10 of these? How many of these are you still on the hunt for? Look, there's a lot that could go in this video. These are just the 10 I wanted to highlight that I would say give a little bit of variety and to keep your eye out when you're at the rack stores, because I tend to see these a lot. Some more than others, some certain times of the year, but I can almost guarantee you're going to start seeing CK1 Shock a lot more now that we're moving into the fall and winter time. Not yet to the winter, but we're starting to move into fall. So it's going to start showing up. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of the fragrances discussed in this video and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.